Come on in and welcome back to my kitchen. In our last recipe video, I did show us how to make fried yam and hot pepper sauce. If you're yet to watch that video and you're interested in seeing that video, I'll simply be leaving a link for you in the description section below. Today's video, I'll simply be showing you how to make a type of bread called brioche bread. I do have a recipe video on how to make bread on my channel. However, it's been like 3 years and I felt it was high time I updated you guys on what I do a little bit differently in my kitchen now. Let me tell you a little bit about brioche bread. Brioche bread is lightly sweetened, however, it is so enriched with butter and egg that it's very richly flavored, and the time that you use in proofing this is much more longer than the time you use for the regular white bread that you've seen on my channel. The dough itself is very versatile. You can use it for a lot of things. You can use it as your sandwich loaf bread. You can use it to make your dinner rolls. You can put it in any shape that you want. It's so enriched that you're going to like it, I promise. In my last video on bread, I had used a hand mixer. In this video, I'll simply be showing you how I achieved my dough using a stand mixer. So without further ado, let's head onto the work table and start baking. These are what you'll need. I have in here active dry yeast. I have eggs. I have salt. I have butter here. And then I have my milk right here and my granulated sugar. And then this is what is called a water Roux. In a few slides, I'm going to show you how I make this. And the function is it will keep your dough and your final products more tender. It will keep it more moist. And then the most important factor for me is that it actually increases the storage life. So if, for instance, typically your bread stores for like 2 to 3 days, it gives it some extra days. So I'm going to show you how I make this. And then I have my bread flour right here. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and heat up my milk and bring it up to temperature so that I'll proof my yeast in it. You have to check the package of your yeast to know the recommended temperature range that yeast allows. For mine, the liquid should be between 110 to 115. So I'll take this to the microwave and do that for like 30 seconds to bring it up. Once my milk has come to that temperature that I want, I put it in the bowl. The next thing, sprinkle in my yeast. And then my sugar. Please note, if you're not so sure about the quality of your yeast and it has stayed in your fridge for a little while, I'll advise that you take a little bit of the milk to proof the yeast and to check if it's still active. Because if you go ahead and dump it all in this whole amount of milk and the yeast isn't working, at the end of the day, what you have is that you're just going to waste that amount of milk and products that you have there. So I'm going to let that rest for about 5 minutes or until I see that it bubbles. After about 5 minutes, I realized that I actually added salt instead of sugar. So I have to proof my yeast again. Please, please don't do the mistake I made. Try to concentrate, because your yeast will not activate if it comes in contact, in direct contact with salt. And that was exactly what happened to me. So my job is to make the mistake, while yours is to learn from my mistakes. So therein you have the milk, you have the yeast, and then you have the sugar. Now I'm gonna wait for this to proof. Can you see how it has bubbled and kind of poofed out? That shows that my yeast is active. So I'll go ahead now and dump my flour in. My salt. My eggs. And then my Roux. Then I'll attach my paddle attachment. Put it down at stir level. Just gonna mix it until I see that it starts forming, like coming together like a ball. Then I'll stop it. Then attach your dough hook. Bring it down again and stir for about 1 to 2 minutes to bring it together and form. Once you see that it has come to like a ball consistency, I'm going to go ahead and increase the speed a little bit to about 2, to give it a gentle knead for about 5 minutes. Once your time has gone off, my alarm is going off, then I'll start to add my butter. The reason why you wait for the butter at the end is because the butter interferes with gluten formation, and this is a lot of butter. So if I had put it in, let me stop this. The reason why I'm going to add this butter at the end is because a lot of gluten formation happens during this first kneading, and if I had put in this butter, which is a lot of butter, it's going to interfere with that gluten formation. Let me show you what I mean. See, it looks a little bit like hard now, but you see it's not sticky, it's well kneaded. See how stretchy it is? So that is the first kneading. Scrape down my bowl. And now I'm going to add my butter bit by bit, 1 tablespoon at a time. You wait for that butter to get absorbed into the dough before you add any other butter. Go ahead and add another one.
Once ready, I like to smoothen and fold it into a ball as shown. Cover it up and place in a warm spot to proof. About an hour later, my dough has risen. Gently punch this down to deflate the trap air. Transfer it back into the mixing bowl or your countertop and knead for like 2 to 3 minutes to redistribute the yeast and improve structure.
I like the bread, Mommy.
You like it?
Yes.
Okay. So what am I doing? I'm kneading the dough. No, leave it alone. Yes, because it's working.
If you want to do it by hand, here is how you would do it. Transfer this into the oiled bowl and proof again. My dough has doubled. It is time to shape our dough. I like to dust my hands with a little flour, then punch down to remove as much hair as possible. Then I transfer this onto a flour dusted surface. Fold your dough as shown, as this helps the shaping and structure of the bread. Weigh your dough for close uniform shape. To get my small roll shape, I divide half of the dough into 6 uniform sizes as close as possible. Folding and shaping into mini balls as shown help create tension around the roll, thus help keep your roll intact and standing tall instead of spreading out anyhow during proofing or baking. To get my mini loaves, this is what I do. I divided my remaining dough into 3 parts. Then I repeat the folding and shaping as before. As you fold and pinch, it will get difficult to seal into each other. That is a telltale sign that it's time to stop. Cover them up to relax the gluten formed for ease of final shaping. Go ahead and grease your pan properly to help bread slip out easily after baking. It's time for our final shaping. Again, lightly dust surface with flour. Punch down gently to remove whatever trapped hair. For my particular shape, I roll out as shown. Ensure to give the hand a good pinch to seal off the underside to prevent cracks. Here is a closer look. Pay attention, abeg. For my mini loaves as well, this is what I did. After some time, I realized my loaf has risen to the height I wanted. Usually, I let it rise to about an inch above the tin or baking pan. I made an egg wash as shown for shine. Please lightly coat surface, trying as much as possible for it not to drip into the sides of the pan, as this will lead to sticking of your bread to the pan. Transfer this to a preheated oven and bake. 15 minutes later, I placed in the rolls and covered the mini loaves with foil tent. My bread was ready 20 minutes later. Lightly coat this with melted butter and immediately transfer to a wire rack to cool. I beg, don't be like me here. Allow this to cool completely before diving in. If not, it will look gummy inside. The structure of the bread is awesome, if I do say so myself. I do hope you give this a try and leave me feedback in the comment section. Until next time, when I see you again, let's learn and cook together. Bye-bye.